Hi there. Today I'm going to show you how I develop a print or a paper negative, rather positive, in my homemade darkroom. This is my bathroom, and I have chemicals set up. So let me go over it very quick. In this bin, you have a developer. I'm running a Rodinol solution 1 to 100. I'm running Ilfo stop 1 to 19, and I'm running Ilford rapid fix 1 to 4 solution. Developer is at about 70 degrees Fahrenheit. All other chemicals, stop and fixer, are about 75 degrees Fahrenheit. I have my safe light set up, and I'm gonna grab the paper, put the safe light on, and we're going to develop that paper negative from my pinhole camera. Okay, so I have the safe light on, but what I'll try to do is put the night shot. There you go, you can see better. Alright, so let me start. Let me cover the camera's viewfinder so it's not gonna fog the negative. So let me dig out the paper. This is actually positive Harman direct positive paper, and it's a glossy paper, and we're gonna develop it for as long as it needs to be developed. I don't really have fixed time for that. Let me zoom in very quick. I'm gonna zoom in on the first bin, and you can see how it's done. So let's get it started. One to 100 solution is pretty slow, so it's going to take a few minutes to develop it. I shot this in my pinhole camera. The exposure was roughly about 10 hours. It was one of the projects I was trying to see what I can achieve with my homemade pinhole camera, aperture of 256. So right now you don't really see anything yet. Image should just start showing in just a bit. I like to flip the paper over. Alright, and I start seeing dark edges. Dark edges are from the paper being squeezed between two pieces of wood in my pinhole. I'll make another video on my pinhole camera. So I'll agitate it for just a bit, and I'll let it sit here. As you can see, I don't know if I can see that well or not, the image starts to, there you go, you can see it. Image starts to show on a paper. You can start seeing this is a positive, so unlike your negative, this one's going to be a little bit different. And what I'm looking for here is just the perfect blacks and perfect whites. You normally want to do it for about a minute and a half, but with this solution really slow, you want to go for a couple minutes until you visually see the image that you want. So it starts to show up. blacks are getting deeper. Whites are still there. Whites are there. They're not fogged. Like I said, the exposure was about 10 hours on this camera. There'll probably be no people visible because of such a long exposure, unless somebody was sitting there for 10 hours, which I doubt. There you go. The image is getting more visible. And we're almost there. Don't agitate it for just a little bit, just to get them juices flowing. You see, it's getting there. Not quite there yet, but it's getting there. Like I said, the black edge is from the paper being squeezed between two pieces of wood. Why not white? Well, because this is, like I already mentioned, a positive paper. The only thing different is that the image is reversed from left to right. I'll give it a few more minutes, a few more seconds, and then I'll dump it over to the stop bath. And I'll zoom out so you can see the next process. Once the paper is in the fixer, it's safe to put the lights on and view it. And it's getting there. Image is quite sharp. It's just a simple picture I took at work. I let the camera sit on a shelf so that it would be up higher. Even that, the camera has pretty long focal length, and it's not as wide as my other one that I made, but it works. Alright, under the safe light you can see that blacks are black, but sometimes it could be tricky because sometimes these blacks are not really black once you put the lights on. So just give it a stir, a few more seconds, and I think that should do it. I think that's fine. I'm going to put it in stop bath for a few seconds. And I like to keep it in a stop bath until the paper is not sticky anymore. Once the paper leaves the developer, it's really sticky. Once the developing process is stopped in the stop bath, you can hear the paper squeak. That means the stop bath did its job and it's ready to move to the fixer. Put in a fixer. It's a Ilford rapid fix. About 2-3 minutes in the fixer should do the job. About halfway through the fixing process, we can put the lights back on to see if we get the good results. Right now I see it's a pretty decent shot. So I'll let it sit and do its job. the camera. You want to agitate it about 10 seconds every minute or so. That's how I like to do it, you know. Everybody has their own ways. This is my way. Not necessarily the right way, but it works for me. I rated the paper at ISO 3, and based on that, the exposure came to be what it was. Now, through the miracle of time, 3 minutes has gone by, and we're gonna shut the safe light off, and I'm gonna put the room light on. So I'm gonna get rid of this night shot. You can see the light is still on, and let's see what happens. Boom, the lights are on. Save light is off. Let's see what we got. Not too bad. Not too bad for a piece of box and a wood box and a hole made with a sewing needle. Post comments and let me know your suggestions. I'll let it sit for a few more seconds, and after that I'll go ahead and wash it under the running water for about a minute or so and show you the results. Alright, so let's pull it out. I'll add some cold water. This is a fiber-based paper. It likes to be washed just a bit longer than a resin paper. And here's the result. Alright, I'm gonna hang it to dry and scan on a computer.